The possibilities of outdoor adventure are endless in a place as beautiful as Australia. Whether you're heading out for the day on a relatively easy endeavor, such as the famous coastal beach walk from Bondi to Coogee Beach, or a more challenging hike up into the Blue Mountains, or perhaps even an ambitious journey deep into the outback, it's important you understand the proper precautions to take to ensure that you have a safe and enjoyable trip. Now let's learn together how to stay safe in the outdoors.
Hey, hey you! Yeah, you! Where are you going?
I'm going to hike the Blue Mountains.
Not like that, you're not.
What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
Well, for starters, you're not very well protected from the sun.
What's wrong with that? I'm trying to get a tan.
You need to be careful. Did you know that Australia and New Zealand have some of the highest skin cancer rates in the world? Not only that, but a sunburn can be really irritating, and a bad one can cause painful blistering.
Wow, I didn't know the sun could be that dangerous. What should I do?
Well, you can wear a hat to protect yourself from the sun, and you should also wear sunscreen, but make sure you reapply.
Great. So after I do that, am I done?
Not quite. We are just getting started. You see, the weather can be quite unpredictable at times, so I recommend bringing a jacket, or a jumper as they call it in Australia, just in case it gets cold, and a sturdy rain jacket like this, just in case it rains. Did you know that there are multiple ways that you can use your rain jacket for survival on a hiking trip beyond just staying dry? You can use it as a shelter, or a trail marker, or a cold compress, just to name a few. This shoulder bag is probably not the best thing to take camping. I would recommend bringing a backpack instead. It's much easier to carry and can hold a lot more of the supplies that you need.
Wow, it feels so much better.
Right? I also wouldn't recommend hiking in a skirt. I would recommend instead wearing pants. That way your legs are protected from minor cuts and scrapes and any poisonous plants that you might come across. Finally, hiking in sandals is probably not the best option. Your feet are much more prone to injury that way. I would recommend wearing closed-toed shoes that have a good grip or hiking boots.
Great!
Okay, so now let's put the whole thing together.
Am I ready to go hiking now?
Not quite. Just because you look the part doesn't mean you're ready to go hiking just yet. We need to make sure that you're mentally prepared and that you have all the proper supplies that you need.
I have all the proper supplies that I need. I have Tim Tams in case I get hungry, and a bottle of Coke in case I get thirsty.
While it's great to bring along fluids, water is your best option.
If your body doesn't have enough water, you might become dehydrated. Dehydration can cause fatigue and confusion. If you get disoriented, you run the risk of getting lost on your hike. Look out for signs of dehydration, like headache, dizziness, or a dry mouth. And if you do start to notice any of these symptoms, take a break and make sure to drink plenty of water. Drinking enough water is also one of the best ways to prevent heat stroke.
Drink water. Check. What about my Tim Tams?
Well, Tim Tams are great. They're probably not the best snack to take with you on a hike because they're not going to give you the energy that you need to complete a challenging hike. Try instead a handful of nuts.
Awesome.
Okay, great. So now that we have you set with plenty of water and the proper snacks, let's make sure that you have the rest of the essentials.
Make sure you have a flashlight, topographic map, a compass, matches or a fire starter, a pocket knife, perhaps a whistle, and definitely bug repellent.
Bug repellent? What kind of bugs are we talking about here? What other animals do I have to worry about?
The bug repellent is mainly just to repel against ticks and mosquitoes, but Australia is home to all kinds of wildlife, like kangaroos, dingoes, and snakes. But just remember, even if you do come across wildlife, never interact with it, because they are just that, wild. If you do happen to come across dangerous wildlife, and let's say you get bit by a snake, remember, don't try to suck the venom out like you've heard in those crazy cowboy tales. Best thing to do is bandage, remain very still, and send someone to get help.
A couple of insects you should be aware of if you're going hiking, let's say in the Blue Mountains, are the funnel web spider, which can be identified by a shiny carapace, which is the bony shield covering the back of the spider. Another one to be aware of is the redback spider, which can be identified by a red or orange stripe down its back. Follow the same precautions as with a snake bite if you do get bit by one of these spiders. Another danger you need to be aware of is bushfire. If you're hiking in an area with a bushfire risk, you need to know the fire danger rating, which is determined by the weather forecast. You might have to change your plans if bushfire risk is high, as some national parks may be closed due to the present danger. As a last resort, if you do find yourself in the midst of a bushfire, identify a safe area, such as a cleared area or a body of water. Again, be prepared and know the conditions before you set out on your hike. In this example, Leah does the right thing by finding a body of water to stay close to until it is safe to move on.
Got it. What about the other end of the spectrum? What about water safety?
I'm glad you asked. Let's say you come upon a river or a lake on your hike. Always be aware of fast-moving water and check the depth before you get in. Never swim alone. Be especially careful around rocks and ledges, as they might be slippery, especially around waterfalls. Also remember with waterfalls, don't jump into the pool at the end of the waterfall if you can't see the bottom and you haven't checked for any submerged objects.
Another form of water safety is at the beach. If you're at a patrolled beach, make sure you swim between the red and yellow flags. If the beach you are attending is not patrolled, make sure you know how to spot rip currents and how to escape them by swimming parallel to the shore. Again, always swim with a buddy.
Well, what else do I need to worry about?
A few more things. It's essential that you bring along a first aid kit. Any basic first aid kit should have Band-Aids, cleansing wipes, gauze, and topical antiseptic. Along with the proper tools, we need to make sure that you're mentally prepared to handle any first aid situation that might arise. And let's say if you or someone else gets hurt. Like for instance, what would you do if you tripped over a rock and you cut your leg?
Personally, I'd probably freak out, cry, and possibly faint because I'm just not a fan of blood.
If you remember one thing, remember to remain calm. Breathe regularly so that you don't faint, which would just make the situation worse.
If you get a cut, use some gauze and apply pressure to stop the bleeding. If available, use an alcohol wipe to clean up the cut. Then, cover the cut with a Band-Aid to protect it from infection.
Okay, that seems easy enough. But what if I get a bigger injury, like fall off a cliff or break a bone or faint and hit my head?
That is a very good question. First of all, stay back from cliff edges and never climb over a safety fence. It's a good idea to hike with a buddy just in case you do get injured. Make sure you and your buddy know what numbers to call, like that of your instructor, and call 000 if it is a true emergency. If you don't have cell service, send your buddy to get help. If someone is badly injured, make sure you prop them up on their side so they don't get any trapped fluid in their lungs. Make sure that they are warm and calm. It's a good idea to have the skills that you need to handle a dangerous situation, even if you never have to use them. If you take all the proper precautions and are well prepared, you should have a great hike.
Okay, so now that I have the proper attire, I have everything in my backpack, my raincoat, water, snacks, sunscreen, first aid kit. I know what to do in an emergency. I know what to do with poisonous animals. So now am I ready to go on a hike?
Not quite.
Are you kidding me?
All you need is a buddy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Now we can go on a hike.
Hi again. Just to go over those key points that we talked about, make sure to wear proper clothing to protect yourself from the sun, which can cause serious damage, from cuts and scrapes, and from mosquitoes and ticks. Bring layers because the weather can change at any time.
Be prepared with plenty of food and water. Make sure you have the right supplies as well. You're really going to wish you had that map when you can't remember which trail you turned down last. And you're really going to wish you had that compass when you have no idea which way north is. Let's say you get lost and you're out way longer than expected. You're really going to wish you had that flashlight. These are just a few examples.
A first aid kit is a must. Hopefully nothing goes wrong, but no one really plans for an injury. It's better to be prepared, and again, in any situation, just remain calm.
Also remember to be extra careful of any cliffs, staying far back from the ledge. Waterfalls are also a beautiful photo opportunity, but if you're going to jump from the top, you need to make sure you know how deep the water is at the bottom and that there aren't any objects under the surface that you could land on. Be just as cautious on the beach as well because rip currents are a very real danger.
Take a buddy on your trip, not just for safety. It's a great excuse to spend quality time with someone and make a new friend. We're all in this Australian adventure together. Thanks for watching.